Hello again, everyone. Mr. Hadley here. Today's art lesson is inspired by another story I really love to read, and it's called A World of Your Own, and it's by Laura Carlin. Now, this is a story I really enjoy because this story calls upon all of your imagination. It is really cool. What she does in this story is she actually creates, you can probably guess it, a world of your own using what I just said, her imagination. And that's what I really want you all to do today, is use your imagination, dig really deep inside of it. I know you all have it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna read you the story first, and then we're gonna draw a world of our own. All right? A World of Our Own by Laura Carlin. Hello, this is me, Laura. Standing in a line. I hate standing in lines. To make things more interesting, I imagine a world of my own. I'd still have lines in my world, but they might look more like this, or this, or this. Let me show you how I draw and make my world by looking at what already exists. Even in my world, I need to get out of bed in the morning. But I don't want any alarm clocks. Well, not any ordinary alarm clocks. I like to invent different ways to start the day. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Could you invent an alarm clock that you can see, hear, or even smell? To create my world, I start by looking around me. This is my house in the real world. First, I copy the basic shape. Then, I think of ways to make it more exciting, such as giving it a few more floors. That way, if friends come over to stay, they can have an entire floor to themselves. Stairs seem really boring, so I add slides instead, and bigger windows so I can see what's going on outside. I want a swimming pool too, obviously. I also want my house to be high off the ground in order to look very important, so I put it on top of a large tree with a rope ladder for getting in and out. And finally, here's my house in my world. Draw an outline of your house. Now draw where you would like to live. What's your house made of? Does it have walls or windows? How do you get in and out? Next, I like to think about what kind of neighborhood my house is in. Just like in the real world, some of my buildings in my world look pretty dull from the outside, but things aren't always what they seem. Take, for example, my office supply shop, which actually sells shoes for superheroes. And this is a house on my street that really scares me. But it's actually just full of kittens. Look closely. There are 131 in total. Inside this perfectly ordinary looking building are rooms full of all the people and animals I'd want to live near. I've designed the rooms in all sorts of shapes and sizes to suit the needs of each guest. For example, a giraffe needs a tall room, a bird would like a tree to sit on, and my brother would definitely want a TV in his. If you'd like somewhere for your friends to stay, take a piece of paper and draw blocks of different sizes. Now fill them in with animals or people of all shapes and sizes. Do your guests require windows, trapdoors, plants, slides, or swings? You might want to collect different kinds of paper, material, or patterns to decorate the rooms with. And you'll have just made your first hotel. My world has other kinds of buildings too, such as factories made of things. In my world, of all factories have to be the shape of whatever they make. This is so they conform to the building regulations. This one makes pencils. This one makes baked beans. And this one makes spaghetti. Choose 3 things you can't live without and imagine what the factories that make them would look like. Do they have to be tall or short or really big or tiny? Even in my world, you sometimes don't know what to do with the day, so you might need some public buildings to visit. They are called public buildings because everyone can go inside. You could go to the library and borrow not only books, but also toys, hairstyles, and even voices. Or if you're brave enough, you could go visit really dangerous animals. The most dangerous reptile ever. What do you like to do during the day? What places would you like to visit? How about a gallery of different noses or a museum of tree houses? Believe it or not, there's a school in my world too. I attend the first Tuesday of every month to learn very important skills, such as face painting and how to fit more than one cookie in my mouth at a time. Here are some other lessons taught at my school. What important things would you learn in your school? My world not only has spectacular buildings, it's also full of animals. For example, everyone has a dog in my world. Even the dogs have dogs. I've drawn each dog differently. It makes sense because, like us, every dog is different. Apparently, dinosaurs become extinct millions of years ago, so I've invented them back. Sometimes people think my drawings of crocodiles look like snakes, or my dogs like horses. I prefer to see myself as an inventor. You can be an inventor too. List 6 of your favorite animals or insects, draw them, or find photographs of them. Now, by cutting them up and rearranging them, you can invent 3 new animals. In the real world, we all look different from each other. Everyone looks different in my world, too. I draw and make them different ways to show this. I see a woman who's a bit shy, so I can use colored pencils to draw her softly. No such problem for this girl. This man is strong and confident. He needs a solid and strong line to tell you so. And this man is just sunburned. This person looks a bit glum. You can tell by his hunched shoulders. But it's okay. This boy is rushing to keep him company. And to make him look like he's in a rush, I've drawn him quickly and with energetic lines. You can tell a lot about a person by how you draw or make them. This is my dad. He's on a straw because he's very tall and slim. Granny is old and fragile and sometimes falls down. So does my baby brother. And here's my mom who's tiny. Now think about 3 people you know. How could you draw and make them to show what they look like? It's important not to have traffic jams in my world. People tend to get angry in traffic jams. One of my favorite forms of transportation in the real world is the train. I may as well improve the train from my world because I can. So in order to get a better view, passengers are allowed to sit on top of it. And it can be any shape I like. In fact, it can be the shape and size of all my favorite animals. What is your favorite type of transportation? Can you think of ways to make it even better? Before I go to bed, I look over the world I created today, and I'm pretty sure friends will want to visit, so I'm going to create a flag so that my world can be seen from far away. My flag has to represent my world, so I've chosen 5 of my favorite things to put on it. I also only use 3 colors. This makes it look more sophisticated. Tomorrow I can start again and make a whole new world. You can start your own world as soon and as many times as you would like. And don't forget to look at real life for inspiration. Is that a lamppost you can see outside your window? Or a tower? Or just an uptight snake? Thank you so much for following along with the story. I really love this book, A World of Your Own by Laura Carlin, because I just love, again, how much it calls upon your imagination. This book calls upon, how you want the things that you see in real life to actually look. Meaning that what Laura Carlin does is in the story, she sees real life things like cars or people or food, favorite things of hers, and she transforms them into things to make them her own, right? For instance, let's go back in the story just a little bit, all right? Right here, actually. Right here. In this story, she's creating factories made of the things that the factories actually make. I think that's brilliant. Look, this factory makes pencils, and it's the shape of a pencil. And the baked beans, and the spaghetti factory, I think that's awesome. So, in order to do this drawing, again, you can make this drawing however you want to make it. I'm just going to show you one way of how to go about this project, okay? All you're going to need for this project is a paper and a pencil, all right? Something to draw on and something to write with. So before we actually do get to the drawing part, though, I want us to think about what Laura Carlin said in the story. At the very end of the story, she wrote rather, "Tomorrow I can start again and make a whole new world. You can start your own world as soon and as many times as you like. And don't forget to look at real life for inspiration." So she gets excited when she sees things that exist in real life. Right now, while you're watching this video, look around you. What things do you see in real life? Maybe you see a table, maybe some books, or a plant. Maybe you see some puzzle pieces, maybe some silverware, maybe a couch, or maybe some pillows on that couch. Maybe some stairs, you walk down the stairs, maybe you see a lamp, maybe you see a toothbrush, or a brush for your hair, perhaps. This brush is kind of broken, but it's okay. Maybe you see some windows too, and the more you look out the windows, maybe you see some rain or some cloudy skies, and the more you look out that window, you might see some leaves. The more you look at those leaves, maybe you see some trees, or maybe you see a truck with really big wheels, or maybe you see some buildings outside, or maybe some cars on the road, or just a road, or maybe you see the woods. That was a lot of things, but I really just want you to start to think about, everyday objects, everyday things. Again, I want you to look around at things that you see right now, and how could you draw them the way that you want them drawn? Would you draw them smaller? Would you make them bigger? All right, so let's get to this drawing. Again, you only need a paper and a pencil for this. All right, this is only one way to go about this lesson. You can make it your own. You don't have to do it this way, but the drawing should be a world of your own. All right, let's get started. All right, so I have my paper here. Remember, you need a paper and something to draw with, something to draw on and something to draw with. I have a pencil. Pencil works pretty well for this, all right, in the beginning. So what I want you to do first is on the piece of paper, I would like you to please write your name and then flip the paper over so that your name is on the back, all right? And then I would like to show you this. This is just one example of how this project can go, or how this drawing lesson can go. All right? The first thing I want to tell you is I really, really want you to know that you can draw this any way you would like. All right? It doesn't have to look like this. The only thing I ask is that you draw using your imagination, creativity, and that you fill up the paper, all right? So that not just one part of the paper is filled up, all right? I want you to cover the entire piece of paper, all right? I still got some white spaces here, but that's okay. We're gonna leave them blank, a little bit white. Anyways, so this is my example. I would like to talk to you about my example now of my own world, a drawing of my own world. So based on the things that I showed you, that I see in real life, I came up with these different rooms, all right? I imagined what my world would look like by thinking about different rooms in a building, okay? And we're gonna get to that in just a second on how I made these rooms, but I would like to describe my rooms to you right now. My first room is the brush room, all right? What do you think that's for, right? Well, toothbrush, hairbrush, paintbrush, any brush that I would need is right here, and they're just floating there so that I can grab and take whenever I would like, all right? The next room is the place of pillows, all right? Based on those pillows that you saw, I came up with pillows that are different colors. Some are large, some are smaller, and some pillows are shaped in my favorite foods and favorite animals. The place of pillows. Next comes my land of ladders. Now, I know I didn't show you a ladder, but again, you can think about things that maybe you don't see, all right? Maybe you don't actually see them in person, but you can think of them, all right? And you can use them in your drawing because this is all imagination, right? So in the land of ladders, what happens is you need to go down different ladders, and these ladders actually shift. So you got to be careful because you want to go on the ladders once they're connected. If they're not connected, you want to be really careful and wait for the ladders to be connected, all right? Also, in the land of ladders, I didn't color this in quite fully yet, but in the land of ladders, it's really, really difficult to climb these ladders because they're really slippery, because it rains. But in my world, it doesn't rain from the sky to the ground like we're used to. It rains from the ground to the sky. The rain goes up in my world. Whoa. And lastly, this was a little difficult to draw, but I wanted to do my best, all right? Lastly is the dark room. Now these little things here are inspired by tires on the truck that I saw. See this truck? Yeah, look at those tires, they're huge. And I really, really like them. So what I did was I used them in my drawing. I did the best I can to draw them. So these tires are actually kind of spaceships. And what they do is instead of lighting up the room, they actually darken the room. In my world, one of the rooms needs to be darkened so that you can see the stars. And you can start to see the tiny little stars in there. All right? Kind of makes sense. This one kind of looks like a face. All right, but again, I really want you to use your imagination for this, okay? Ask yourself, what things do you see right now that are in front of you or behind you? Where you are right now, what can you use for your drawing, right? How would you draw them? What way would you do that? All right, so now I'm gonna show you just one way how I went about this specific drawing, okay? Again, you don't need to draw it this way, right? You could leave the whole thing like this and you can make a big drawing on the paper of your world, all right? Remember, just fill up the paper, okay? And write your name too. That's very important so that you know who did it, that you remember who did it. All right, so the first thing I did for that drawing there was, what I actually did was I folded the paper this way. In half, just like that. And then what I did was, I took that half and I folded it up in half again. In order to draw my drawing, I think I told you this quickly, but I wanted to think of it as 4 different rooms, right? Sort of like in the story, right? There are different rooms and different things are happening in these different rooms, right? Okay, so back to this drawing. Now, I'm not going to draw the whole drawing, because that would take many, many minutes, and I would really love for you to get started on your own drawing. But you can come back to this video anytime you want and look at what I'm drawing. I'm not going to specifically go over how to draw every little thing just because, like I said, it would take many, many minutes, and I want you to get started on it, and I don't want this video to last forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start drawing. Well, actually, I'm going to title my rooms first. So I called this the brush room. I'm going to call this the place of pillows. And you don't have to do it like this if you don't want to. The dark room. And the land of ladders. Are you going to have rooms in your world? Or maybe not. Maybe your world is just one big room. That's fine. Do you have titles? Your rooms don't have to have titles. That's okay. You can just draw however you want your world, your own world to look, right? So I'm going to get started here in the brush room. Like I said, I don't want this drawing to take up too much of the video. So what's going to happen is now I'm going to speed this drawing up, but if you want to look back to it, you can, but I want you to get started on your own drawing too. So let's speed this drawing up a little bit. So I'm going to stop that fast-paced drawing just to tell you something really quickly. I'm sure some of you are worried that your drawings are not going to come out the way that you want them to look. Is that okay? Yes, it's completely okay. Look, I know we're not going for perfection here. Are we going for perfect drawings? No, we are not going for perfect drawings, my friends. We are not. You think Mr. Hadley is drawing perfect drawings? No, he's not. If you get frustrated on, how to draw something, that you don't know how to draw it, it's fine, right? It's okay. Your drawings are going to look awesome either way. And plus, your drawings are going to look a lot more interesting than mine because you all have great imagination, all right? But sometimes, I'll give you a hint, sometimes if you're having a hard time drawing, sometimes it's helpful to go back to your basic shapes, all right? Circles, squares, rectangles. I mean it, seriously. Sometimes thinking back to your basic shapes and how to draw your basic shapes can help you draw different kinds of things, right? All right, so I can't stress that enough. This drawing does not need to come out perfectly whatsoever, all right? It doesn't even need to look like mine, okay? I just want you to do your best and fill the entire paper, and I'm really excited to see your work, all right? Let's speed this drawing up again. All right, so that is my finished pencil drawing, okay? Maybe you haven't started yours yet and you're just getting started, that's fine. Remember, mine is in color. I would love to see yours in color. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine, okay? This is just to give you an idea. If you want it to look like this, you go right ahead. That's totally fine too, all right? This is just to give you an idea, and this is supposed to help you, all right? So, a world of my own, a world of your own. How does it look? Use your imagination. Do the best you can. Fill up the entire paper. I'm really excited to see your work, all right? Thank you so much for following along. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I know I did. Remember to send me anything that you make. I want to see it. Your project did not have to turn out the way that mine turned out. Remember, this is your drawing. I really want you to feel like you can use your own imagination for this lesson here, all right? A world of your own. Think about the things that inspire you, right? Remember, think about your favorite season. Think about your favorite kind of car or toy or color or food or anything, and make it your own. All right, I really want to see all of the work that you make. It's going to turn out awesome no matter what, okay? So thank you so much for watching and following along. Look for the next video soon. I will see you then. Bye.